approval here.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it on?
Yeah. So welcome everyone to our Heartwise Guide to Relationships.
This is the second of our spring series.
So I'm Ruth Sharon, and this is my beloved Jim Sharon. He's going to share about our book.
Yes, here's our book. For those of you who haven't seen it, we hope many of you have. And Ruth's going to tell a little bit about the cover in a minute. But this is something that Ruth and I edited, and it was released in early January. I gathered 16 relationship experts from across the country to write diverse chapters in this book. And each one of these is designed to be, and that actually turned out to be, very practical and not only informative and inspirational, but also a lot of exercises that partners can do together. Every chapter is replete with those exercises. So this
is a good workbook.
Yeah. So what this series is an outgrowth of this work, this book. Did you want to say some more about any of this, or did you want to go into what you were going to present?
Well, I'll briefly say, so we coined the word Heartwise, and one of my assistants has Googled it since and sees that it's pretty well used now. It's kind of a word that's being put into the population. So I'm happy about that, not based on us, but other people are coming up with the name. But to me, this cover really depicts the notion that we're each a separate human being. You know, who would think? The old myth is I'm half and you're half, and we'll put our halves together and we'll become one whole. Well, you can see what misery that's caused.
Putting two leaky buckets together, right?
Yeah. So just to honor each other's individuality and autonomy, and to create a space where we can really sanctify our love and be precious with our little hearts that can get wounded easily and that have been wounded. So how can we create a safe space here and a depth? You know, the tree of life has such deep, deep roots, not just for us, but through the generations and into the future, to have seeds planted for the future. So this is a very hopeful look at humanity and the evolving stages of being able to have healthy relationships and have bright sun and shadow and having it all, because we're human beings and we're the light and the dark. So I'm happy to be able to share this material with people and to keep teaching classes and bringing together other people. And we're not of the ilk of experts so much as sharing our own wisdom, like creating.
Speak for yourself, girl. No.
Oh, okay. You're the expert. This is Dr. Jim Sharon. Yeah. So you want to tell about the wisdom pool?
Yeah. Well, this is a term that we've coined. We like it. It just very simply at a chance to share your experiences together. So we're learning from each other. I was being a little bit joshing about the expert part. I hope you realize we all have something to bring to the party. And that's what we're looking to create in this series, is not only the facilitator's presentation, but also what we can get through our interactions. And that's what we're calling a wisdom pool.
Right. So it's creating the circle, a sense of a circle rather than an expert at the front of the room. So just all feel free to feel included and welcome, whether you're a couple or not a couple. We're all learning these skills and these tools and allowing this evolution to quicken in us. So I want to tell a little story about that. And I saw somebody else was going to come in, so hopefully they'll pop in soon. How many of you have heard of the 100th monkey? Did you ever hear the story of the 100th monkey?
It's a great story.
No. Okay, great. So this is a story. It's a true story that in Japan, off the coast of Japan, there was an island, and a group of scientists were studying the little monkeys that ran around on this island. And so they did this experiment where they set up observation posts and they watched the monkeys, and the monkeys would dig up the sweet potatoes and they would eat them right out of the ground. And then one young monkey, a young female monkey, which I thought was very telling, went to the water and washed the dirt off the sweet potato and then ate it. And so then her family started washing off the sweet potato. And then the next little group of monkeys started washing off their potatoes, and that one over there and that one over there. And they noticed that it jumped islands. like that consciousness of cleaning the dirt off of that sweet potato spread.
And this is before the monkeys had internet.
Ha ha. So it's known as the 100th monkey because when there's enough critical mass making a certain change, it spreads unstoppably. And so we can see how change happens like that. When I learned this about the 100th monkey, the microwave oven just came out, and it was like, well, there are a few early innovators that'll, create a microwave, and there are a few early adapters that will start using the microwave. And now, microwaves are everywhere. So that's what we're doing with HeartWise.
Creating a buzz.
You don't have one. Okay, good for
an
you.
exponential buzz.
Yeah, so it's creating this wave, this movement, this ripple effect that as each one of us starts awakening to who we are underneath our programming and our conditioning, and we start being our true selves, in ourselves and with each other, we create this HeartWise culture, this atmosphere of accepting each other as we are, accepting our uniqueness and our autonomy and our desire to create union. So it's a paradoxical thing, right? To unify and connect and join, and to separate and be autonomous. So it takes us into the next level of our development.
And what it really does, I think, is create more and more light workers. I think that's a term some of you have heard, and you may consider yourself that way. And, we're not seeing ourselves as unique in this. We're just adding to something that's already going on the planet and really trying to raise the bar even some more.
Yeah, link arms and be in the dance together, right, Avital? So we're going to introduce Avital, and I'm going to see about sharing my screen so I can show you about her program that she's going to do with us tonight. And so it's how to love and be loved. So you can take a moment just to read what she's planning here. So I'm so glad that you're here, Avital, and I just wanted to share a little bit about how I met you quickly, and then you can jump in. Avital and I were at a workshop together with George Carroll, who's been a mentor of mine for many years. He's a motivational leadership kind of person, and Avital and I were in his year last January 2020 to make the greatest year of our lives. And you just like lit up. You were like this firecracker in the front of the room. And I was like, I got to go meet who this person is. She's like this bright, shining star. So we connected on a break and we started talking, and we've just stayed in touch all this time. And Jim and I were part of her How to Love and Be Loved program last spring. And now you're bringing that program to our HeartWise Guide to Relationships platform. So thank you so much. Being the talented dancer and healer that you are, we welcome you.
Thank you so much. It's just such an honor and joy to be here and to be connected with you both and continue this relationship. So that's definitely really, really exciting to do. And what I'd love to do also is just find out from you guys, can you think of moments where you just felt deeply, deeply connected with somebody, and how that felt in your body and how much harmony that created with the other person when you had that feeling? And that's really the gift that I want to tap into here with you, is just how to access that more quickly and more deeply. And everything we're doing pretty much is going to be participation with a partner where we need to see each other. So Savannah, I'm hoping that you're going to be comfortable turning on your video shortly, so that we can include you in the practices that we're doing. And if you're shy about turning on video, like I could just be your partner also. But what I want to do is just share a little background to where this comes from, because I started reading relationship books like starting in high school, and I've just always been obsessed with the concept and the understanding about how relationships work. And I lived at a yoga community for almost 7 years. So I worked on the relationship with myself a lot during that time, and also started taking relationship programs. And I always wanted to lead a relationship program. I've led many other types of programs, but I kept avoiding it because I've never been in a long-term relationship. And I had an event last year for Valentine's Day where it ended up coming together, where we were doing some dance movement connection exercises and some partner yoga. And being a dancer and in the dance community that I was in, I always just questioned, like, what could I give back to this community? And people always commented how easy it was to get in sync when we were dancing and how well I followed. So I thought, all right, let's talk about this connection thing, because people talk about feeling closely connected with me pretty quickly upon meeting quite often. So what exactly pulls that together? And so all of a sudden I'm leading this relationship program that spawned from the Valentine's event. And I didn't have to worry about talking about how to make a long-term relationship work, because I could invite Jim and Ruth to do that. And so that's how this, cross, you could say, pollinating started. And we're going to do a small piece of that here. And I'm just really excited to bring you this experience. And the more presence and openness we bring into this experience, the deeper of a connection, the deeper experience that we're going to feel. And then Savannah, I'm just wondering if you are, if you can turn on your video, if you're like comfortable turning on your video, or send me a message as to what's going on with you, because I'm going to start breakout rooms in just a moment, and I want to know if you're going to be participating or not. And so those of you also watching the video later, it's good if you can find someone to do these practices with when you're doing the video. Wonderful to see you, Savannah. I'm so glad. Very good. So I'm just going to put you guys with a breakout room sort of randomized. So I'm going to put you with a partner, and Jim and Ruth are going to work together right where they are. And and Savannah, you have someone.
Yeah. Hi, this is my fiance, Brian.
Hello.
Hi, Brian. Okay, good. So Savannah and Brian, you're going to work together right where you are also. Perfect. And then Ken and Marcia, I'm going to be putting you together. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to just stare at each other's eyes. But what I'm going to ask you to do is to point to your left eye. So everyone point to your left eye. Okay, good. So when you're with your partner, the first thing you're going to do is point to your left eye long enough that they see which one it is, and then relax your hand. And then you're going to look left eye to left eye. Now, this is always funny online because, you're looking at the screen, not at the camera. We're going to play with that. So you get the feeling of each of those different options as well. Okay. So just stick with looking right at the person's left eye. And I'm going to put you in the breakout rooms, and then you're going to see me put a little note up. And you're going to do that for about a minute. Just keep looking left eye to left eye. And we're almost done. Okay. Good job, everyone. This time, what I want you to do is touch the point between your eyebrows. Okay. And you're going to look at that point on the other person. You'll do that for about a minute. Just staring right at the point between the eyebrow of your partner. Just relaxing into this moment. Breathing, feeling their essence. Staying as present with that as you possibly can. Okay, good job, everyone. We're going to do one more of these, but just take a moment to close your eyes. And imagine the sun pouring into your head, feeling the beautiful warmth and the fulfillment and the energizing feeling of that. And as the sun pours into your head, allow it to fill your heart. As you feel the sun's energy touching all the insides of your heart and filling that up, imagine that as love. Your heart is full of love. Then imagine that your heart can shine like the sun, and it can shine that light out in all directions. And this time when I put you back with your partner, you're going to be looking at the camera. So you probably won't directly see them. So you're going to imagine them. And I want you to imagine pouring that love from your heart over to that other person. Those of you who are in person, you're going to look at the point between the eyebrows. There's no camera in between you. Sharing the sun love of your heart. And here we go. Sitting up nice and tall. And keep pouring the rays of that beautiful sunlight out to the person that you're working with. Looking at the point between their eyebrows. Imagining with each moment your gaze can just send a love right over to them. And if you happen to not have a partner with you to do this, then just imagine somebody, particular person who you want to send love with. You can always do this for a group of people or the entire world, but we start with just one person right now. Welcome back, everyone. What was the difference for you between each of those three experiences? What was the difference between looking left eye to left eye, looking at the point between the eyebrows, and those of you looking through a computer, looking at the camera instead of the person?
My favorite was the last one, to feel all that warmth and all that heart exchange. We started getting into a nice rhythmic breathing together, sending and receiving love between us. That was lovely.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I felt that way too. The first part, I was trying to say, what words would I associate with that, what I was seeing? And the words that came to me in the moment were gentleness and presence. And that was the looking eye to eye. The next one, the word that came to me was outer worldly. It seemed like, we were going beyond, and really meeting at a soul level beyond our earthly exchange here, many years of exchange. And then I would echo what you said on the last one too, for love, really experiencing that strongly, receiving and giving.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful.
And myself for the first one, looking the left eye to left eye, I felt a sense of establishing a connection, and a very solid connection, and kind of what Jim had mentioned about the presence. Definitely felt that, and it was good introduction to the connection that started to develop. In the second one, I felt as if we just really had a chance to connect a little more deeper within the body, just because it was more, it wasn't the eye, it was here. So it felt like there was more of a body connection. And rather than the mental, like the first one where it's just, and then the third one, it really felt like it was a more sense of giving, and a sense of enjoyment, like just giving and receiving. But it really felt good to just give, and it kind of expressed another side of our passion and intimacy, that I really kind of dug into, because I just imagined the love pouring out into her, and my love, and just kind of like rays of sun. So it was really nice.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for sharing all that. Good.
Oh, I was just going to say, I kind of liked the first two a little bit better than the third, because I liked looking at Ken's face, even though I was just looking at one eye or in the middle of it, so I like that.
Yeah, good. I'm going to put you back with your partner for just a moment, and I want you to decide with your partner. We're going to do the heart energy sharing in the sunlight no matter what. So I want you to just decide with your partner, are you going to stare left eye to left eye? Are you going to stare at the point between the eyebrows? And then if you're on the camera, are you going to stare at camera? So you get the third option. So let's have both partners be doing the same thing. Okay. So let me put you in the groups and decide with your partner which one of the three options you're going to do.
Seem to get a lot.
So just thinking about, for this exercise, do you want to be looking left eye to left eye? Do you want to be looking at the point between the eyebrows? Or if you're doing this through a computer, do you want to be looking at the camera? Maybe you want to take turns. While one person looks at the camera and the other person receives that intentional gaze, and then switching to the other. Oh, good. Looks like the couples had already figured it out and now they're practicing it. So everyone, you're all in agreement. You know what you're going to do? Okay. So Jim and Ruth had already hinted on this, which is they were feeling the breathing come together. So we're going to add that. Okay. And so when you breathe together, you're going to be sending to each other at the same time. And then as you exhale and as you inhale, you're going to be receiving that sunlight. Okay. Sunlight coming in through the crown of your head and then going out through the heart. So you're actually, when you inhale, receive from the sun itself. When you exhale, send that out to your partner. Those of you on the internet, sometimes it's harder to perceive breathing. So I really want you to move your chest. So have really, really deep breaths so your partner can see your heart moving. And if you want to make your breathing a little louder, you can, but still breathe through the nose because it's more relaxing to breathe through the nose. Okay. So go ahead and do that for about a minute with your partner. Just keep imagining that sun pouring into the crown of your head as you inhale. As you exhale, that sun beaming out. Inhaling in sync with your partner. Exhaling in sync with your partner. You'll do this for about 10 more seconds. Slowly bring yourself back to the room. Okay. This time you're going to breathe opposite. And what I'm going to suggest is that the women breathe as you naturally do. And the men, it's going to be your job, just to make it easier to choose one person, it'll be your job to try to opposite match your partner. So when the woman is inhaling, you exhale. When the woman is exhaling, you inhale. Move with their timing, even if it's not consistent. Do your best to move with their timing. And now you're going.
Are we still doing the sunlight coming in? No.
Now you're going to do the sunlight going back and forth between the two of you. So imagine you've already filled yourself up with enough sunlight. So now it's just going to go right between the two of you. Sitting up nice and tall. And if there's a female partner, if there's one female partner, let that person start the breath. Otherwise, just choose who's going to start the breath. Inhaling and exhaling, sun coming in and out of the heart. And then the other partner will match the breath in the opposite breathing. Inhale when your partner exhales. Exhale when your partner inhales. Do your best to match their timing. Keep staring at the eyes in whichever version you chose. Welcome back to our group room. I'm going to send you right back to your breakout room, and you're just going to take a moment to share anything that you want to in response to that experience with your partner. And if you notice a difference between those two types of breathing patterns, then share what you noticed. Just taking a moment to share whatever's coming up for you in this exercise. Be sure to switch if you haven't already for who is sharing. Welcome back. Anybody want to share with the group your response to that exercise?
Really difficult. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Brian, is it?
No, it's Ken.
Okay.
Who is trying to talk?
Not me.
So was Ken or Marcia trying to talk a second ago?
Oh, I don't know. I might have said, well, we were just saying, well, I'll just go ahead. We were just saying that that probably the people who were together had a different experience than we did because, we're long distance and we don't know each other and we're computer screen and all that. But we were trying to, get the breathing on the opposite sync and all that. And I mean, was there anything else? Yeah.
Yeah. What did it feel like to do opposite versus together?
Opposite's easier.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I found the opposite of that. I felt like it was a lot easier to be in sync with each other than it was to be out of sync with each other.
Nice.
And the second one I felt, where we were breathing opposites, it just felt like we were just a bit more intertwined, because we were filling each other's lungs, like our noses and our lungs were just one, and like we were just one really entwined, filling each other's, like, kind of like support, like she has my back, I have her back type of feeling too.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful.
I had a starkly different reaction. I really liked the first one. I felt like we were in sync and harmony. And I was annoyed by the second one. First was like, I was trying to listen to the sound of her breath. And that was the cue I was taking. And I wasn't being able to distinguish at first. Then I finally got that down. And then I realized, oh yeah, I haven't been sending sunlight. So it took me till about the last 10 or 15 seconds to get it all working together.
Yeah. Normally when we do these breathing exercises, I mean, you're going to do them much longer with your partner. So you have time to kind of get beyond that benchmark of just learning the technique and then being able to relax into it and do it. So this is definitely something great that you can continue with your partner. And the other interesting thing that this just reminds me of as well, also when it comes to personal preference, is that there's sort of like a different reason or psychology why every couple comes together and the type of interactions that they want. And so some of you are going to like when you're breathing together more, and some of you are going to like when you're breathing opposite, right? And either one, from my opinion, is totally fine. And if you feel like, oh, well, the one that was or the one that didn't resonate as much, actually, I want to do that more with you so that we can develop that skill as well, or no, I just want to focus on that one. So that's something that you can also decide with your partner, what's going to be good for both of you going forward to continue to practice that exercise. But thank you all so much for playing with that. I mentioned that I'm a dancer, so we're going to get some more movement involved, but I wanted to do those things as benchmark things first, so you have some level of connection already established with your partner. And what happens a lot of times, actually, I'll say this, I did a talk and then a dance performance, and I think I might have even had a meal with a group of people, like we were all at different tables beforehand, and I could tell this one lady at the table disagreed with everything I said. And after she watched the talk and the performance, she said, God, I wish you just did the performance, because when I spoke, it wasn't all in alignment with her beliefs, right? And it created the difference and the dissonance. But when we move, we access more at the soul level. We get beyond the mind. And so that's why it's nice also to practice the ability to communicate with movement and not words. So you build alignment and connection without getting caught in the ideas of the head. So it's part of the purpose here. And I'm going to do is I am going to spotlight Jim and Ruth. And that way you can see them. And they're going to demo for a moment. And the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to put you for about a minute. And then we're going to have one of your partners lead and then the other person mirrors. So let's have Ruth lead, and then Jim is just going to follow like you're a mirror looking at Ruth in a mirror. So just go ahead and do that for a moment so they can see what that looks like.
It's from way back, right?
And they're going to do movements, simple movements that are easy to follow. Yeah, good. And those of you on camera, you're going to have to keep in mind that it needs to be things that fit within the frame of the camera so they can see what you're doing. Beautiful. So they can go away and towards each other also. Beautiful. Okay. Very good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put you in there into the breakout rooms. And after a minute, I'm going to post a message saying when to switch partners leading. Okay. And if you want to do the same thing we did before, have the female move first and the man follow, if that helps you decide who's first. But you can be rebellious and do your own thing. You're just following one person in your group. Keeping the movement simple. Now you'll switch which partner is leading, let the other partner lead. Again, keeping those movements simple so it's easy for your partner to mirror you. Ten more seconds. And welcome back, everyone. Good job. The next layer of this, as you probably know, when you share something with somebody, you want to be heard, right? You want to be seen. We're going to do that through movement. And Ruth is going to create 3 very clear movements like, and then Jim is going to copy those movements. Okay. And then you'll switch, let the other partner create 3 movements and you copy them. Jim and Ruth, do you mind demoing for a moment? Beautiful. And I'm going to make one correction to that. Just make it a little more challenging. Ruth, you're going to do all 3 of those motions and then Jim do all 3. You want to try that again? So then Jim does the 3 motions. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's it. Good job. Okay, make sense? All right, I'll put you in the rooms. One partner does 3 motions, the other partner does 3 motions. Same ones or as much as you remember. Be sure to switch partners back and forth so each person gets to talk through movement first. Start wrapping that up. And coming back to the group. Good job, everyone. Thank you so much for playing along with that. And as you noticed, we just did a few things during this time. And there's something really neat that happens when we get to have more time. We can keep evolving that conversation through movement. We can also give feedback as to what we would want more of to the other pupils so that we can really learn how to offer more support, more presence, more trust, more open-hearted compassion. And I'm going to share something with you, which is that this is called How to Love and Be Loved. And we're going to do a longer version of this. We get a full 2 hours. Today we're doing 40 minutes. So we get a full 2 hours on April 13th. And then what we're going to do is get to do these relationship exercises to understand ourselves and others, do more of the tantric breathing for the depth of presence, and the movement exercises for harmonious communication, and then also training to increase the flow of love in our lives. And then you can register at healinghappensevents.com. And the value of the workshop is $97. And I'm offering it to you for $57. But what I'm telling you is that actually this was created based off of another program that was a charity event. So there's 3 different charities that the proceeds are going to go to, and you can talk to me later to find out more about the charities. One of them is No Kid Hungry. So a lot of kids who aren't going to school during the pandemic are not eating because they rely on school to eat. So this program helps those kids eat. What I'm also going to do is invite you into my Facebook group called Marquis de la Romance, where you can connect with other people who are just really interested in continuing to learn about relationship skills. So there'll be memes, there'll be events, there'll be questions that you can ask, support that you can ask for. And of course, that's free to join that group. You look up Marquis de la Romance on Facebook. And I just want to thank you all so much for participating and being open-minded. And if you want to connect directly with me, feel free to email me at info@avitalmiller.com.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
That was lovely. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a little wrap up here. Thank you so much, Avital. That was a lot of fun.
You're so welcome.
Yeah. So that's what I have to say. It was a lot of fun. I'd like to get some other people's experiences, and you can share those in terms of feelings that you had, perhaps ways that you were felt inspired, or maybe even a decision that you reached while you were doing this program tonight. So anything that occurs to you by way of your experience, if a few of you could share that, that'd be great.
I'm going to put the slide up.
So I can say that one thing that I would say kind of came to agreement on, but we did mention it and we said, yeah, we agreed on it. So yes, but it was the exercise where we were breathing opposites. It was a bit more of a challenging one, to just really be able to get the most out of it. So, I mentioned, I said, Savannah, something we should practice this one right here, because we see the importance of it, and the effects that can possibly come. So she's like, yes, we can definitely be. So that's something that we're going to practice on, is that exercise. And I think that's a good one there.
Nice.
So thank you.
Who else? Just anything from tonight that really stood out for you, by way of some of the things I mentioned, either emotions that you had, things that you said were insightful perhaps, or things that you want to take forward in your life. Like you just said, excuse my voice, talking a lot today.
I had a lot of fun. I was so glad to do this, Avital. We used to do this stuff back in the 70s. And as I've said to you and other people, now that I'm in my 70s, I love all the stuff I used to do in the 70s. So it's fun to do it again,
Yeah. Yeah.
She's really been living into that.
Yeah. I was realizing as I was doing this, like I was sort of making that joke about that woman that said, we should have just cut to the dancing, like the physical thing and not the mental thing. And In the yoga community I was at, we'd either sing before we'd meditate or have a talk, or we would do these energizing exercises before sitting to meditate. Is that all these things to get us into a good place? And as I'm feeling into the energy of the group, that there's a softness, a sweetness, and a calmness that comes also from connecting deeply with another person. And so just doing these practices is really another great way to feel more relaxed and open in our own selves.
So that tweaked something in me when you were talking. When I was in graduate school, there was this woman in my program. We just didn't like each other too much, and when whenever we talked with each other, just it just didn't work. But we had a chance to play together through movement, and we both said, "Wow, this was a totally different experience." We both just really got into the playing, and it shifted our relationship.
Yeah, I enjoyed the movement too, and that because that's like kind of fun to follow each other, and then and it gets playful and stuff, and I like that kind of thing. So I enjoyed that, doing that with Ken.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great reminder of that, finding new ways to be present with your partner and being open to bridging those new levels of communication, or simply being unfearful about asking what more can you do to be present with them, type of thing.
Yeah.
Being present sounds so easy, but it's so much of a practice. I have to keep practicing being present. As one of my clients said, she can do it when she's outside because she tunes into the birds and this and that, but inside, like, what can she tune into that'll help her be more present? And I thought that was a great question. And, now I'm seeing like being present with another person really helps a lot, just to really tune into each other and follow each other and feel the exchange of energy. Help me be really present.
I think it's such a great paradox because it's the easiest and the hardest thing to do. In some ways, you cannot be anything but present to something. It's kind of like you can't not communicate. Other ways, to be really consciously present and to stay in that is a whole different ballgame.
Well, it's very true. I realized at one point when everyone's like, be more present, I realized, well, we're always present with something.
Right.
But the question is, do you want to be present with what's around you in that moment or with the person that you're with? And then train yourself to do that even more deeply.
Excuse me, I'm going to just try to find my, what I had put here as our closing slideshow. And I also wanted to have you tell about what's next. So do you want to do that first?
Yeah, I was going to mention what's next. Actually,
Okay.
I thought that's what you were putting up at first.
Well, I'm trying to.
Okay. So next week on April 7th, we invite you guys to come on back. It's going to be a different kind of program. It's going to be presented by Linda Bloom, one of the chapter authors in our book. She wrote her chapter called Relationship Building Blocks and Practices with her husband, Charlie. And this topic on conflict to connection is really about gracefully and effectively getting unstuck in a conflict situation and being able to restore that relationship with your partner so that you're connecting again in pleasant and positive ways, constructive ways. So she's really good at that.
And she just filmed a course to do for our online community too. So you can look forward to that. That'll be launching in the spring.
Yeah, Linda and Charlie are social workers. They're besides their private practice over many, many years. They've been married almost as long as we have. They've written many books together. Some of those are bestsellers, and they're sought after speakers. So that's going to be quite a strong program next week. Hopefully you'll tune in.
Very good. And then I just wanted to show this little slideshow, if I can remember how to do this. Whoops, that's another person's program is going to come up.
We love Celeste.
And that's another program coming up. This one's for families. And that's Linda's program. Okay, I have a slideshow hiding under here, but I'm not sure if I know how to find it.
It's a hidden treasure, huh?
It is a hidden treasure. Well, I'm going to stop here and just invite you to look on heartwise.us for our book and order it on Amazon if you don't have it already. And if you have it and have read some of it, please leave a review. Really means a lot to us to have reviews of our books and programs and things, to know that we're reaching people and what
I'm
we're
on
doing.
Goodreads now too, besides Amazon. So
Uh-huh.
place to do reviews there too.
So what was on our slideshow that I'm not finding, I have to get better at this screen sharing, is that we have podcasts, and Jim and I love this. We put on our headphones and we have our microphones and we interview people or we discuss things, and it's called Give Your Love Life Some Love. And
Yeah, baby.
yeah, baby. So it's on iTunes, and it's easy to find if you search for Jim and Ruth Sharon or Give Your Love Life Some Love, you'll see that. And we'll continue to have this weekly series till the end of April. And then we're going to go into these pre-produced, pre-recorded courses that you could take at your leisure. So that's what we're building with Heartwise. And we'd love to get your feedback and have you share with others. And we're going to set up some love ambassadors, people who want to spread the love and spread the word on our programs, and can get a code to be able to give to other people. And when people register for the courses, then you get a commission back. So be a win-win for all of us. So I hope some of you will think about being a love ambassador. All right, I'm going to stop the share here so we can all be together and close out our wisdom circle. Should we take a few breaths and just breathe in this nice, warm, loving feeling that we hopefully have generated?
Send it back out to one another.
Exhale, send it back out. And our nice circle of our love ambassadors here, people who want to be more heart-wise and share more love in the world. Knowing that this virtual circle exists beyond time and space, that there's Ken's given us the heart sign. Here's my new Heartwise sign. It's like this. We're making some wings on our hearts and we're tapping our heart meridians here. Yeah.
Little butterflies.
So cute. Yeah. Making hearts. Yeah. Because we all want to love and be loved. Yeah. So thank you for being here. Many blessings.
Thank you. Thanks
again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Absolutely my pleasure. Good to meet you all.
Good job.
Same here.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Marsh.
Hey, Tube.
You know
How are
Marcia
you?
Avital?
Ruth. Well, I was on last week too. Yeah.
Right, I know, but I just
Yeah.
wondered if she knew who you were.
This is my sister.
She's your sister?
My little sister.
That's why she was calling her Marchkadoodles.
Oh, no, she was.
Just, by the way, you're still recording. But I just wanted to tell you something quickly about the recording.
Yeah.
What I've noticed in the past is when I do breakout rooms, it just records